Hello, and welcome to yet another Western Reviews podcast.
Hey, the Skype thing is something new here. But this is the Saturday Reviews edition of the show. We're doing some more up-to-date, recent movies that are coming out. Switching up the platform a little bit, revamping some things. Now, for one of today's reviews, I'm doing two, one day, aka the one you're listening to right now. I have the absolute pleasure to be joined by a special guest. Call it round two, if you will. So if you would be so kind out there, please give a round of applause to our guest for today, the return of Mr. Curtis Elton, still no relation to John, from the Listen podcast. How are you doing today, sir?
I am good. This is deja vu all over again. This is good to be back.
I know, but it feels great now. It's revamped, the better sound, a little different.
Now, before we start anything related to what we are discussing today, I want to quickly mention that I hope everyone gets a moment to check out our previous collaboration for the Groundhog Day review, released roughly 1 month ago. It's a full 30 minutes of off-the-wall banter, so it should be enjoyable for your ears. The Western Reviews podcast is available on quite a few platforms, from Apple Podcasts to Spotify, so the choice is yours. And don't forget to check out Mr. Elton's podcast, available on all those platforms I just mentioned. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the choice is yours. If you don't remember this info, I'll be sure to bring it up again by the conclusion of this review. Speaking of, moving onwards or forwards to the review. Now today, we will be talking about a particular yellow guy who's been on the TV airwaves for over 2 decades now. Who is this yellow guy that I could be talking about? No one but Mr. SpongeBob SquarePants. Now he'll be making his return to the big screen, well, in your homes, with his third movie titled The SpongeBob Movie, Sponge on the Run, which is available to stream right now on Paramount Plus, Apple TV, Prime Video, Vudu Fandango, etc., right now in the US. Ignoring a sloppy release schedule that it suffered, it's been on Netflix elsewhere since November and on DVD and Blu-ray in Canada for about a month now. But I must ask our special guest extraordinaire, Mr. Kurt, do you have any favorite episodes of season of Mr. Bob the Show? Not the movies, per se?
Oh, the show. No. I haven't seen it in a while, the show. Actually, no, I saw it a few months ago. I have seen it. They're all great. I like every single one of them. Few of my favorites. No, none of my favorites, but in terms of movies, I like the first one. I like the first and the most recent. There were 3 of them.
Yes.
And the first one had David Hasselhoff.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why I like it. That's why I like the first one. And the third one is now my new favorite because of all the cameos.
Yes, which we'll be getting into today because there are a lot of them.
There are lots and lots and lots of cameos.
But yeah, 2 personal favorite episodes I do want to mention before I start this review. One where SpongeBob and Patrick learn curse words, and there's Dolphin censoring the words out. That's one of my favorite favorites. The other one's probably be the one where they go camping outside of their homes, and out of pure jealousy and envy, Squidward turns up to join them with some disastrous results. 2 episodes that I definitely love from childhood. Still like watching them nowadays. Also probably the one where they try to deliver that pizza. But this is coming from a SpongeBob viewer who adores the first couple of seasons. Not that I'm critical of the later ones, but the early seasons still just have a good place in my heart right now. But as for the movies, I'm with Kurt here. Is it alright if I call you Kurt?
Yeah, call me whatever you want. Call me Bob.
Okay.
Hi.
Now, with my buddy over here, the first movie is probably my favorite one out of these 3. I like all of them for their different reasons. I'm going to get into why we like this third one here.
In terms of storyline, the first is the best, but in terms of the people involved, the third is the best.
Aha. All right. Now, basically the concept for Sponge on the Run for this one, nothing too new here. Gary the Snail gets kidnapped, or whatever they do to a snail nap. And SpongeBob and his friends have to go to the lost city of Atlantic City to save him from the evil hands of King Poseidon. Not King Neptune, but King Poseidon.
How many kings can one ocean have?
I don't know. It's all
They
very
called
confusing.
him the King of the Ocean. And they did that in the first and the second movie too. Sounds like there's 3 Kings of the Oceans.
Right. And the King Neptune design for the first movie differed from what the show had for their design, for legal reasons. But there's a lot of different kings for the show, if I could say so myself. But it's not just SpongeBob and friends that are along for the ride. There's plenty of cameos, both in live action and animation. Live action was the more noticeable because you can see them by their faces. Mr. Keanu Reeves, for example, is playing a tumbleweed.
Yeah, Tumbleweed. And I have his name here called Sage.
Yes,
He was like
Sage
a calm
and Madam
tumbleweed.
Sage.
He was a very calm tumbleweed.
Very calm. Very calm.
Very sage.
Very very sage. And to spoil some other names out there that makes appearances, Mr. Machete himself, Danny Trejo, makes an appearance.
Mr. King of Canada.
As El Diablo.
And everything.
Yes. Diablo Man. Snoop Dogg also makes a live action cameo doing a little musical number with some
zombies.
Interesting, zombies there. And in terms of animated cameos, roles, I don't know if this is a familiar name from any out there, but Awkwafina, if you catched her from one of her recent movies, Crazy Rich Asians.
Just a post-review note, I meant to say that Awkwafina was in a movie called The Farewell, not Crazy Rich Asians. I didn't do this on purpose or to confuse anybody about her movie credits. My mind was just all over the place during the review. Speaking of, back to it.
Plays the robot Otto, who helps SpongeBob and Patrick out on their mission. And Tiffany Haddish has a cameo as a fish called Tiffany Hadfish. It's pretty much something that you might see there. But there's a lot of big names that got involved with this, even with the music. I read somewhere in an article not too long ago that Cyndi Lauper, popular star from back in the 80s, got involved with some musical numbers from the soundtrack that was performed by the...
Also Reggie Watts. Have you heard of him?
Yeah. Reggie Watts. Yes, I know Reggie Watts for his sidekick appearances for Horton's talk show.
Yeah, he was playing... What was he playing?
He was, I guess, like the apprentice of sorts for the king.
Poseidon, but they said that, as he said, Chancellor.
Yes, he's the chancellor, kind of like the not the master. That was Tiffany Haddish. Kind of like an apprentice of sorts to the king. It's not exactly higher up. That's the king. He's kind of below him a little bit. It kind of helps him out with things. That's what I think. I know source is different. Yeah.
He was dressed like a jester, but he acted as like a cup.
Yes. Source is different from what he was playing, so it was very confusing. Some people were saying he was playing Poseidon, then it turns out he was playing the Chancellor. I don't know if this was a mix-up.
And then he played a judge, a prosecutor, a judge.
Yes.
And that's the end of his scenes.
That's pretty much it.
It ends with him with his mouth, with tape over his mouth, and I think it ends with that. Yeah. There's not another scene, so I think he's right now still backstage with tape over his mouth.
Pretty much. To this day, while we're still speaking, you might have tape in his mouth. It's not the case here. You'll find out when you watch the movie itself. But
no spoilers. And when there's a spoiler, there will be a big sound effect in the background of sirens.
You heard the man. There's gonna be spoilers ahead. We should have put it out earlier when we were talking about the cameos, but that's besides the point.
The story. Now, what did you think about the story for this movie? Gary Holt being snail-napped and
I thought there was a movie where he was snail-napped.
That was can I call it a special? Yeah, TV special. Have you seen this snail that premiered 15 years ago?
Times. I think there's only a certain limit of times that snails can be snail-napped, but he's been snail-napped a lot. I liked it. It's based around a snail. They go to the lost city of Atlantic City, I think.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
That's the one. The lost city of Atlantic City. What happens is... Oh yeah, spoiler alert, it's sirens. Can you hear the sirens?
Yes, the sirens. This is a spoiler because I'm going to bring up a line after you
Where are
finish
they coming
this.
from? Where are they coming from?
I don't know where they're coming from. It might be coming from yours. I don't know.
They go on an adventure all the way across the... No. Plankton has... Should I explain it? Yeah, I'll explain it. Plankton sets up an evil scheme to try and steal the secret formula. He realizes
Correct.
it's SpongeBob's fault, and then he sends SpongeBob now to be a makeup to do the makeup. Whenever anyone listening watches, they'll know what I mean.
Right.
He's makeup. He is a makeup. He's not doing the makeup. He is the makeup for the king, and he sends him away. And SpongeBob chases him down, and while he does that, he gets caught, and he gets arrested and is sentenced to be executed. Yeah.
That's when it gets serious.
Then they all go for him, and what I find funny is they have a court scene.
Yes.
I've never seen in a movie, in a SpongeBob anything, a 30-minute court scene.
Yes, and in between the court scenes, it definitely brings up something that's been very controversial within the SpongeBob community for the last, how long has the creator been passed away? For about 2.5 years now? I'm pretty sure you know what scenes I'm going to be bringing up in just a moment. Spoilers, once again, if you hear sirens in the background, big spoilers, but it's pretty evident because the movie's been out for months now in other territories. But the Camp Coral scenes are kind of implemented in between when the friends come out and explain why SpongeBob and Patrick shouldn't be executed. So lots of Camp Coral flashbacks. A lot of debate sparkling on whether the creator wanted this show, didn't want this show. I think it's kind of been debunked that we won't really know. I mean, it's up to him. You know, opinions can change at the last minute, but I know it's been written in paper that he wasn't really with the idea at first years ago.
Maybe he changed his mind. Well, no, he died before this was made.
Yeah. And then speaking of the Camp Coral stuff, of course, premieres the same day with SpongeBob on Paramount Plus. So if you want to check that out there, quick mention. But the Camp Coral execution was something very different. I know a lot of people are complaining about, well, there's no continuity here. In this in particular episode, SpongeBob and Sandy met here, or SpongeBob and Squidward met there, or SpongeBob and Patrick met here. I mean, there's not a whole lot of continuity within the show. I get that, but lack of continuity within the show, so it's not really a surprise that they would go and do this idea. There's not a whole lot of continuity. Maybe in their universe. It might be a different universe. Who knows?
Who knows? It's the SCU, the SpongeBob Cinematic Universe.
You got it. You got it. Different from the television universe.
Yeah, completely different.
One episode.
No one cares about the DCEU or the MCU or the MCEU or the DEU. They care about the SCU.
That's right. The SCU is very important. It's top tier.
Yeah.
Those little musical numbers sprinkled here and there, particularly at the end, about the secret formula being SpongeBob. He's the one who makes the secret formula great, or perfects the secret formula, rather. Is not actually revealed, just in case anybody was confirmed. Oh, they're gonna let the secret formula. No.
Oh no, they gave him the secret. They gave Plankton the secret formula. He didn't have to steal it. He gave it.
Right.
Yeah, the sirens. Oh, that siren hurt my ear. Turn that.
Oh yeah. The spoiler siren.
That was loud.
Oh my goodness.
He gave it to him. But then eventually I don't know if he gave a formula back. He didn't care about the formula anymore because no one else cared.
That's right.
So SpongeBob was a formula all along.
We'll see what happened in the fourth movie if he gets his formula back.
I would have thought he had a copy of it.
Right. If it was that smart enough, I would have multiple copies. But
yeah, but then that's more
to
steal. That's more to steal.
Yeah.
Oh. That's for another episode.
Yes. Then moving on from the story, the animation. What did you think about the animation? It's nice.
It was different to the way it usually is.
Yeah.
It was very different, but I got used to it. When I first saw the images in the trailer, I didn't know if it would be any good because of the animation. But then the second it came on, I barely noticed it. It was nice and it's suited. I just treated it as if it was a normal SpongeBob thing because it looked not similar. It looked completely different, but you get used to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you on there. I think the animation is probably like the good thing about this movie. I think I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. The animation was terrific. A nice little upgrade from the CG.
It was more 3D. It was more 3D and bigger, more bezel-y.
Yes.
Bezel edges. Yeah.
But then there's the one nitpick that I have. Spoilers, I'm gonna put more sirens up. Sorry about the sirens in the background.
That was
I mean, if you pay attention in certain scenes, the background fish, they kind of move like video game characters, kind of flip-flop and wavy a little bit.
There was a scene there where have you ever played the game or like Minion Run or something, and you have to swipe on your phone and the characters or the boats
I see what kind of game
all lines around. Yeah. For a moment there, I thought they're gonna make a game out of this.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just me, but you're saying it was like a video game too. I'd be surprised if they didn't make a game out of it. They made one for Despicable Me, for Minions, for every single thing with cars out there. I'm not sure if they made one for this movie yet.
Speaking of games,
because that reminded me of a game. I thought people are going to swipe from these boats on their phone and move them around to get there.
Yeah, now speaking of games, Sponge on the Run is not the first time the SpongeBob universe actually used the title. Apparently there was a tie-in mobile app game for the second movie that was also called Sponge on the Run. So I don't know how they're going to execute it this time go around.
Sponge on the Run. Wait, do you say Sponge on the Run is the app name for the second movie?
Yes.
Maybe this time it'll be called Sponge Out of Water for this.
I know, they might switch it around. Who knows?
They might switch it around. Good old switchy switch. Sponge on the Run.
But I'm glad I wasn't the only person who thought some of the backgrounds was kind of like video game. That's like the front, the characters up front, they look beautiful and gorgeous and they move flawlessly and effortlessly. Another good thing I like is that they kept the bubble transitions and effects every single time they move. But the background characters, especially in the musical number, is very obvious. It's like video game, like very like it's just all over the place. But you know, other than that little
but it looked really good. It looked very good. One of my favorite scenes was where he had a mustache suddenly come out of his face and he started speaking in the French accent. Oui, oui.
That was cool too.
And then it just suddenly retracted. It expanded and it went out and then suddenly just retracted like a machine. It just Right now he has ingrown hairs in his mustache in his face.
Yeah. Absolutely. And also just the whole lost city of Atlantic City. That place is beautiful. I mean the designs that they have for the place. Amazing. Dope.
Yeah.
Next level. They definitely did their best for there.
Yeah. It looked very nice. And with all the lighting and the different things, it reminded me not of Las Vegas, not Atlantic City, which is in New Jersey, or Las Vegas with
New Jersey, Atlantic.
It was different. It was brighter and it had a lot more attractions. This one had roller coasters.
Yeah, they had like a whole segment. I thought that one was cool.
Yeah, and it looks really good. There's pyramids, there's buildings, there's illuminated signs. There's lots of lighting. Sage, the tumbleweed who was in the car, said, "Don't get distracted." And they said, "They're not gonna get distracted." And he said, "Oh, they're gonna get distracted," and they got distracted.
Yes.
They got distracted, and eventually they slept overnight, and eventually Sage took them out of it, and that's how the rest of it goes. But it did look nice, and there was right at the beginning they say cotton candy, ice cream, and then they were just coming out of everywhere with all these treats, all these
that's
candy and everything.
That's a major distraction.
Yeah, if I was there, I'd get distracted too.
Yes. And then another line that probably will happen again, I believe, right around the end where they're trying to run away from the guards by the conclusion. SpongeBob says, "Gary, I will never let anyone take you away from me again." Even though I'm pretty sure in the TV episodes, there might be another episode in the future where Gary gets snapped back again. SpongeBob doesn't know this.
No, then it won't just might be, there will be. He's going to get kidnapped at least 72 more times.
Right.
And that's a very exact number.
Even Gary made it sound at that one like, yeah, right. We'll see about that. But, nice little bit there.
Yeah.
That one.
He sounds like a cat, but he has a personality of a dog.
Yes. That's the best way you can describe Gary.
But then when he gets annoyed, he has a personality of a dog and the sound of a dog and the personality of a cat.
Moving on to the casting section. What did you think about some of the cameos for this movie?
I would be surprised they all wanted to be in a Nickelodeon movie because they're not big movies. But
right.
But they wanted to be. It looked great. They had a music video scene where they had Snoop Dogg doing a music video with zombies. And he was doing a rap, I think. And then Danny Trejo came in as El Diablo, who got destroyed by sunlight. So those cameos, they were short, but they were right. But Sage wasn't really a cameo. That was throughout.
Yeah, just like the robot was consistent.
Yeah. Who's your favorite cameo?
Probably El Diablo. I was surprised they got Machete in this movie. It's a shocker.
Did he have one?
And SpongeBob doesn't know what to do.
Did he have a machete in it?
Actually, I don't recall if he had a machete in this movie. I don't think so. No, I doubt it. It probably would be interesting if they did give him a machete instead of a shotgun, but kids movie. I don't know.
He called shotgun.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
He was probably my favorite cameo. Too. Actually, no. I liked the scene with Tiffany Haddish in it. That was a good cameo because it was funny.
Yes, Tiffany Hadfish.
Because I don't know what the name they used. What was the name they used?
It was Tiffany Hadfish.
And yet another post-review note that I would like to add. Her official character name was actually Tiffany Haddock. She actually just used Tiffany Hadfish as a joke, so semi-spoiler?
Hadfish.
Yeah, that's why I liked it.
And then finally, one more thing I want to mention here. The music. There's not a whole lot of music bits in there. I know there was like a quick Kenny G or Kelpie G section, because that's one of Squidward's favorite artists. Kelpie G is a parody of musician Kenny G. He's a jazz musician.
Oh, I know that. I just don't remember that.
It's
oh no, I remember that.
Yeah,
that was Squidward. Kelpie G.
Yeah. Yep.
That was funny.
And there's some other musical numbers there.
And he played the clarinet, and he's Squidward's idol, and then he was originally playing for the execution, but then he suddenly just came, but then when they were doing the court scene, he played for that.
Yeah.
So he played against the execution. I don't know where he went in the end. Like the people who had their mouths covered by tape, I think they're still locked in somewhere.
Yeah, I think Poseidon eventually let them loose, but
yeah, they should eventually. Anyone watching this, send an email to kingposeidon@gmail.com. KingPoseidon@gmail.com.
Yeah. Please make sure those people are free.
Yeah,
he freed the snails.
Yes, and
another spoiler.
Yeah, and use the hashtag on Twitter FreeKelpyG. Hashtag FreeKelpyG.
I also want to add the conversation of snails into the mix because there's going to be a little more spoiler here. King Poseidon's character fascinated me a little bit. I mean, the movie really didn't give him that much to do, just be a villain. But his whole snail addiction just kind of fascinated me. Just a little teensy bit. Yeah, just a little spoiler bit here. No sirens necessary, though.
We should speak about that. He looked like, he tried to look like a model at the beginning, then suddenly turns out, I just thought it was minor adjustments he had wrong. He had a neck.
There were big adjustments.
And then he removed the neck clip and his face didn't fall, his whole body fell. Then he removed a wig. He has no hair. He removed all the tape, he removed everything, and suddenly he looked like an old man.
Yeah, started looking more like Richard Simmons. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, he did. But with no hair.
Yes, with no hair. A bald Poseidon. Can you believe it?
I don't know how that happened, but it's a good moral to the story.
Right.
Don't kidnap snails to look good. Try cats.
Right. Or dogs.
Yeah. And final hashtag, stop the snail nappings. They happen too often. Hashtag stop the snail nappings.
Stop the snail.
They've happened in too many episodes and films. They need to stop. It's not good. They're gonna need a lot of therapy, the snails.
Right. And since I'm the spoiler guy, I just do want to say with the end, yes, snails are freed. Not just Gary, but snails are freed. He had dozens of snails. Just in purgatory, just waiting up.
Yeah. The only thing I don't agree with the movie is the title.
Oh.
Sponge on the Run. He wasn't really on the run. He was locked up in jail the whole time, and he didn't really escape.
Yeah, and he was in the car for other portions of the movie.
He went there not on the run because he wanted to go there. Then when he got inside, he went to jail. He wasn't on the run. Eventually, he escaped, but that was a 2-minute scene.
Yeah, and when he was really on the run, that was when the guards attacked. Yeah. Yeah. I think they should have stuck with the original title, It's a Wonderful Sponge, but it could be just me.
Is that what they originally called it?
Yes, for early consideration. It's a Wonderful Sponge.
Maybe. No, I don't like that.
Okay. Well, Sponge on the Run it was.
Sponge on the Run it is, but I don't agree with the title fully.
What
about Sponge in Jail?
Sponge in Jail, that's a good one. Or Crouching Sponge Hidden Snail. How about that?
That's a good one. Or Sponged Up.
Sponged Up. Okay, we got to stop with the titles. The studio might take it from us, but I get what you're going for. Yes.
If anyone from the studio is listening, please send a message to this show, and we will happily give you some titles for the next movie.
But we gotta get paid.
You gotta get paid. I'm gonna run.
You got paid.
Gotta get paid.
Absolutely.
I was how long we could go on with that for.
You gotta get paid. We've been on for 5 minutes talking about getting paid. But yes. In conclusion, what do you give the movie as a rating as a whole in your final thoughts about Sponge on the Run?
Yeah, Sponge on the Run. I give it a 9 out of 10. No, wait, that's me being critical. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
I never give a movie a bad rating, but maybe 9.5. Title, I don't like the title.
Yes, the title.
The courtroom scene. If this was a proper movie, like a live action movie with no animations and not a Nickelodeon one, that the critics would say the courtroom scene went on a bit long. But yes. No, I don't think there's any critic pieces on this film. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anyone saying this film shouldn't be nominated for an Oscar because it went on too long.
Speaking of Oscars, SpongeBob was recently removed for Oscars consideration for this year's movies, probably because of his shoddy release schedule. Maybe it might be considered for next year. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe the studio will probably give up and move on to something else to send out.
Actually, you might have done, because I don't remember any other animations coming out.
I think the only one that I think got hyped thus far for Oscar winning, at least, is Soul. Anything else, it's kind of like,
Soul. Soul would have won.
Yeah.
But this, I don't think Nickelodeon makes fun kids' movies, not powerful.
Yes, that's what the Oscars want. They want powerful, dramatic performances. They want, they want all the good stuff. Sponge on the Run is not that. It's more lighthearted.
But it's a fun movie to watch, so I definitely recommend it.
And as for my rating...
Yeah, what's your rating?
I honestly give this movie a moorific, terrific rating. It's not like stupendous, great, groundbreaking, fascinating of the sort. There's some nitpicks that I have with the movie, from scenes going on too long, for example. But, the kids will love it. I'm getting older now, so I'm kind of getting out of the SpongeBob phase. So, personally, in numbers, it'd probably be just an 8 out of 10. Not a complete 10 for me.
Also, I thought it could have went for another title, just like you, Sponge on the Run. I didn't, not the game title confusion.
So it's not fantastic. It's not.
No, it's not the honor for this one. It's moorific. I added my own rating here. Moorific.
No, you can never be too old for this.
Yeah.
No, never, ever, ever.
Never, ever. Maybe SpongeBob might be sponge-napped in the next one.
Sponge? Oh, that'll be a first.
Yes.
They always kidnap the snow and never the sponge. They never kidnap the sponge. Have they? I remember one episode. No, I think that was a snow.
Yeah.
They've never kidnapped a sponge. They should try that. Sponge net, not snow. Leave the snow alone.
Leave the snow alone. It's been kidnapped.
Now, beyond saying that SpongeBob should be kidnapped, God forbid he should be kidnapped.
That'd be the end of the show. It'd be over.
Yeah, maybe someone like Squidward or something, or Plankton. That would be good. The evil person gets kidnapped. I bet you that'll be a good one.
That'd be an interesting one, especially if Mr. Krabs would do once he heard about that. Yeah. Would actually have a good heart and go after him, or just be that's just one less competition.
They would. Based on this movie, Plankton went he tried to help SpongeBob. I think the debts will be repaid in this untitled fourth sequel that does not exist, but should.
It should.
Well, that's a wrap for today's review. If you want to catch episodes or other reviews that I've done previously in the past, you can always follow my podcast, which is the Western Reviews Podcast, which is available on numerous sources, from Apple Podcasts to Spotify. Or you can follow me on social media to figure out, how to get to those platform links if you don't really know that well. You can follow me on my Twitter, which is at reviews_western, and on my Instagram, which is at Western Reviews Official. Where can they find you, Mr. Curtis Elton?
You can find me on Twitter at ListListListenPods, and you can check out my brand new website, listenlistenlistenpodcast.com. That's the website you can find me at.
That's right. For any updates, some new stuff. Yeah.
So stay tuned for my review of the movie Coming to America. No, that's not the 80s classic. I reviewed that last week. It is the sequel to the 80s classic, which was just released, brand new. Hopefully there's some good things to talk about it. If not, then of course it'll be documented in that review. So be sure to check that out, since it'll be simultaneously out now with this review.
That'll be good. That'll be a good episode.
That's right. And be sure to check out that episode then. We're about to head out. I hope to see you on the next one. And hopefully we'll collaborate again, because this one was another cool one. Nice little discussion. I had my papers more stacked up and more professional for this episode. Last one I was just going off the rip.
Oh, I don't mind going off the rails. It's happened every time. I don't mind that. That's my style. This one was slightly better. It didn't go as up, but it was still on the side. So if there was a train, it might have crashed or it might have just made it.
Yeah, just a little skirt, just on the side, but we made it. It's the end. is the end. And yeah, see you on the next one. We are out. Peace.